Hi Foundation, and welcome to Thursday's reading session. So before you listen to our story, The Magic Paintbrush, I'd like you to join in with our reading session today. Our story today is a traditional tale from China because we've been learning all about the Chinese New Year and the different ways it's celebrated. Can you think of any traditional tales that you might already know? Have a look at the picture to help you. A traditional tale is something that's been told for many years, and lots of people will know them. Sometimes they are called fairy tales. So one traditional tale is Little Red Riding Hood. Have a look in the picture. Can you see any other characters that you recognize from traditional tales? So now I'd like you to think about what we have learnt about China this week. See if you can pause the video and tell your grown-up one thing that you have learnt. It might be the way that they celebrate Chinese New Year. It might be some traditions that they have in the culture. Have a think about some facts that you've learnt this week. Here are some new facts about China. So, here is a Chinese temple, and it's called a pagoda. So a Chinese temple is called a pagoda. Another fact that we can read over here is that China has a Great Wall. You can see it in this picture here. And another fact is that pandas live in China. So there are 3 facts about China here. See if you can find out any more. Our story today is called The Magic Paintbrush. So it's a traditional tale from China. That means it's been told and told many times, and lots of people will recognize it, just like we recognize the 3 Little Pigs or Little Red Riding Hood. The title is over here, The Magic Paintbrush. And the author, so the person that's wrote this story, is called Julia Donaldson. Now in Foundation we know Julia Donaldson very well because we've read some of her books already. Can you remember any Julia Donaldson books that we've read already? And this is a character in our story. It's a little girl. What does she have in her hand, do you think? We're going to do our think aloud now. So, is there anything that you wonder or might want to find out just by looking at the front cover of our storybook today? I'm thinking, what will the magic paintbrush do? So what magic powers will it have? I can't wait to read the book and find out. I'm also thinking that this man doesn't look very kind. I'm looking at his face and he looks like he's up to something. We're going to read the blurb now, so the bit at the back of the book that tells us a little bit about the story. It says, when the greedy emperor hears about Shen's magic brush, all he can think about is gold. Shen, however, is determined to only paint food for the hungry and clothes for the needy. But how can the little village girl match an emperor's mighty power? Now that we've read the blurb, what do you think might happen in the story? Can you make any predictions before we read the story? We've got some words here that might come up in our story, so we're going to practice saying them before we listen. Emperor. So that must be the character that we met on the blurb, the back of our story. He is an emperor. Shen. Shen is a little girl on the front of our story, so she's another character from our story. Magic. Do you know any magic tricks? I wonder what sort of magic will take place in our book today. Paintbrush. So we saw a paintbrush on our front cover. And prison. I wonder why the word prison is going to be in our story today. And dragon. I wonder if they go on a Chinese dragon parade in the story, just like we've been learning about in our literacy. We know all about dragons because we've made our own dragon yesterday. And you might have even used some describing words to describe some dragons yesterday. Now, I want you to click on the link below to find Miss Senior reading our storybook this week, The Magic Paintbrush. And once you've listened and joined in with Miss Senior reading our story, I've got some 3 questions for you to think about. So I want you to think about your favourite part of the story, what you can remember from the story, and any parts that make you feel sad in the story.